right, getting to the top of the card now. Welterweight clash. Rise and fall at your call. Robert Vincent taking on Nathan Darby. This is going to be yet another interesting pro debut for a prospect looking to learn and looking to make a statement tonight. As you get to the top of the card, there's more pressure on you to perform. The building gets a little fuller, and people think that you're up here for a reason. So we're going to see if Baby Robert, which is a funny name for a fighter, is, oh geez, Lou, how many Robert Vincents are there in the world? This is the guy. Oh, okay. You know what? It is not his pro debut. However, he is looking for his first knockout. We'll take it there, right? He's looking for his first knockout with 8 wins and no losses. Robert Vincent is looking for his first knockout in a matchup with Nathan Darby. And I don't know if it's Baby Robert, but I would call him Baby Bobby. I don't know how they missed that one. That makes perfect sense to me, right? And so, starting once again with action coming after this fight will be our main event. So hang in there as the fights just get better as we keep climbing the ladder. It's another fighter from whom we're seeing kind of that rockabye lead hand down by the trunks. We'll see if this is a porous defense or if he's quick as Floyd Mayweather with his offense. That's really one of the only fighters I've seen make that make sense. Yeah. Now, sometimes when you're a shorter fighter, as we saw in the Miguel Perez fight, if you're shooting your jab from the hip, the taller fighter can't see it coming. You can punch right over the defense and surprise him with good jabbing. However, that dynamic doesn't seem to be at play here, so we'll see who lands the first significant punch, which I always like to say sets the tone.
Yeah, most definitely. And shooting that definitely, I mean, you've got to put a bit of speed on it as well for it to land. I mean, it can't just be a sloppy jab or a lazy jab. If you're going to shoot the jab from the hip, it's just got to be unpredictable, have a bit of speed on it, and tune the variation of it. Shoot it to the body, shoot it to the head. But yeah, no one's landed anything of any substance yet.
But I do like that Baby Bobby is doubling up the jab. He is working behind it, and you're right, while nothing really significant has landed, it's a good indication that he intends to educate Nathan Darby with that jab. Not much action in the first round, a little bit of feeling out. However, we do see that Nathan Darby, this is far from his first rodeo, also looking for his first knockout, but he does have a win on the record. So as we've seen earlier in this card, anybody can win. And right now, for me, Nathan Darby's the favorite.
You never know with these cards. You gotta go in there and prove it.
He's got to prove it. He's got to prove it. Yeah. I've never seen any of these guys fight before tonight on this particular matchup. However, I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek with it, but what I mean to say is really anybody can win, and that has been proven here tonight in the Rise and Fall at your call. TM14 Promotions and Nielsen Boxing putting together some hell of a matchups where you just thought you might know what's going to happen, but were completely unpredictable tonight.
Yep.
In round 2 of a 6-round bout. Hopefully the feeling out process is over. We're going to get some good contact in the second round.
I think both boxers still need to kind of find their range. None of them have found the target yet. So we might get another at least a minute and a half of that kind of finding range type of process. But I mean,
is it me or is Vincent slow?
You know, he is slow tonight. I've seen him box a few times, and he's usually the quicker man. Fast hands, fast feet, but he's just not finding the. I think the timing is a bit off rather than him being slow. You know, he's not.
Yeah, that power hand, that left, just doesn't seem to be finding its mark quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Seems like we should be shooting that out a bit faster.
But you know, they do say southpaws find it easier, also fighting southpaws, and that's what we got here today. And maybe he hasn't really found that range against Southwell. I mean, Darby just hit him there with a jab. He seems more comfortable with his range and distance than Vincent does right now.
Yeah, we saw it in another fight earlier in the card. Was it Pryor, who just wasn't able to quite get there. And 2 southpaws is definitely going to make for an awkward fight. You can guarantee that.
I think Vincent just needs to commit more right now. I mean, he's throwing his punches, but he's pulling them a bit, especially the backhand. He's pulling it. I think he just needs to step in. Just step in with the backhand, throw the jab. Even if the jab doesn't land, the backhand, if you step in with that, you might have a better
Step
chance.
in and sit on it.
Yeah,
right?
Might have a better chance of landing that.
There was a nice opportunity for Bobby to land that uppercut there. I think that opportunity may come back, so he should be ready for it next time. Just was a little hesitant to pull the trigger, but it was there for him.
See, with fighters like Vincent, he's another kind of puncher and, loves to work with your work and, fast hands and move about. But what Darby's doing, he's not committing. Again, and this is probably the 3rd fighter I've seen struggle with that today. When a fighter's not committing, they find it hard to draw them out. You get it? Like, if Darby commits now, Vincent will have a field day with him. He will just start pinging him, check hooking him, spinning off, all these things. But where Darby's not committed, he's not finding his range, Vincent. He's not finding his range. So I just think he needs to just get a little bit closer, because Vincent's not going to step forward. He's just holding his feet, he's holding that center there, and taking it half a step back, and he's not coming forward.
And it's a difficult skill to hone, because not every fighter, in fact, most fighters, I would say, will engage you. So the opportunities that you get to figure out how to create offense with a fighter who isn't coming forward, who isn't engaging, are few and far between. So it's something you really got to train on in your sparring and get guys in there that will do that. But if you don't know that that is the attribute that the fighter you're facing has, it feels like wasted time, and it is frustrating. Nobody wants to train that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a difficult skill to hone.
It is, but I mean, this is where you got to push the pace and come out of your comfort zone a bit. But right now, Darby's happy he's not landing anything. As long as he's out of range, he might try to run off counters. So he'll bounce out half a step and see if he can catch you coming in. But that's what you want to do. So from what I'm seeing, Vincent's flicking that jab and trying to just throw shots to see if Darby's going to fight on that work, and he's not fighting. And this isn't the first time I've seen it tonight. From what I've seen Vincent fight, and I know the type of fighter he is, he wants to work with your work, handle you and spin off and make you frustrated. But right now, he's the one being frustrated.
And to our point earlier in the night, you want to learn how to do this with a fighter who isn't coming back with a bunch of firepower.
Yeah.
Because there are fighters with this skill set that will not engage you, but will be busy with offense, which is a really difficult puzzle to deconstruct if you don't have experience creating offense for yourself.
Most definitely. You look at Darby, he's just walking around slowly, he's just getting out of the way. He's not fast, he's not over eager, he's just...
And even when he's inside, there's no fight in there.
There's no fight in there. This is where Vincent wants him, so we can do all of this, that he steps back and he's going to spin off him. But if Darby doesn't commit, Vincent can't get that work off. So it's all down to Darby. What he does is how this fight goes. He's playing it really smart. When you got someone with fast hands and fast feet, you just slow your feet down.
Slow the whole fight down.
Just slow the whole fight down.
It doesn't look like Darby is genuinely looking for offense either. Yeah, he's slowing the fight down. He's making Vincent come to him, but then when that happens, he's not doing anything with the opportunity. He's not making a fight even then.
He probably hasn't found his range neither. He's probably worried about getting countered if he does commit. I don't know what his game plan is, but he is making Vincent miss a lot, and he is frustrating. And I just think Vincent should make it a fight for 30 seconds just to see how Darby reacts, and if he can get him to come onto him, then fair enough. But doing this for the whole night, Darby won't change a damn thing.
That's great. Decide. For 30 seconds, you're going to sell out.
Yeah.
30 seconds, you're going to make it all about action and see how your opponent responds.
Yeah. It's a good check up there from Vincent, right at the top of the head of Darby.
Wasn't nothing on it, though, to your point. I mean, yeah, it got there, but it's like, okay. We need something crispy.
After that double jab, just throw the backhand. It's going to be there. There's only so many steps back Darby can take if he's not turning the angle. If he's just taking... I mean, a fight like this is probably so hard to score for the judges.
Yeah, because Darby is the kind of fighter who's going to make you beat him. He is not going to fight you.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Vincent wants to win. He knows the pressure's on him to make the fight, and Darby is controlling the fight in that way.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to figure out, if not just how to cut the ring off and maybe get Darby in a corner, how to put something on those shots when he does have the opportunity to land. Because like he landed a clean hook that you called. At the same time, there's just literally nothing on it. Fourth round of a scheduled 6, Vincent versus Darby, here at York Hall, the Rise and Fall TM14 Promotions and Nielsen Boxing, getting to the top of the card. Main event up next. This is going to be, hopefully, one of these fights that get hot as we get down the stretch. It's a bit long now to still be looking for range, and Darby is playing the matador to Vincent's bull. Maybe the best punch of the whole fight, I would say.
Yeah.
An overhand left landed by Vincent.
He's throwing the backhand off the double jab, but he's not committing, he's not stepping in with it.
It's not committing. That's the problem.
He's still falling short, yeah.
You're exactly right. It's the fact that these punches, and maybe that's because I don't know, it was missing punches by an inch or two, and then deciding that committing might overexpose him defensively. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me.
That's better, but usually when you get just a outright counter puncher, that's the kind of work. They just throw shots to kind of draw you in so they can work off the back foot. And he's not getting that right now, so he hasn't, in all these 8 fights, he hasn't had to go forward and push you back and dig deep and fight on the front foot, do you know what I mean? So this is foreign territory to him. Like you said, he's worried about falling short and missing and being countered. Because he's thinking about the counter, he's thinking so is his opponent, he's thinking about countering him, and he doesn't want to be the one to counter, which is making for the fight, just to not catch fire.
And since Darby's really not trying to win, he's not shotting and moving.
He's not shotting and moving, he's not trying to do anything to win, if that makes sense, Darby.
Darby's so comfortable in there, slipping Vincent's punches that he's doing it with his hands down, which is a bit disrespectful, but also easier to do if you're not looking for offense at all. Just let you know.
But it's because Vince is not committed.
Yeah.
He's not stepping in and following through the punches. A lot of them are just pulling back, just like walk.
Right.
So he's not really slipping anything, but it looks good because he's moving and Vince is pulling back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I give Vincent every round because he's the only one putting any action together, but it's very difficult to say he's winning the fight. I just say he's not losing it.
Yeah.
6-round scheduled fight, as it has been difficult to glean some action out of this bout. I would say both fighters are a little bit to blame for that, in that Vincent, to your point, hasn't been committing, but Darby also hasn't been engaging, and that is a difficult matchup to create action out of. That is not the dynamic that you want. And I think Darby's doing himself a disservice because, as we've seen on the card tonight, anybody can win. You might as well try.
You might as well try. There's no point just accepting defeat from the minute you step into the ring.
Exactly. See a little bit more intention on baby Bobby's punches right there. I think it's more out of frustration really than acumen, but whatever gets the job done, whatever puts some mustard on the sandwich, we'll take it. Crowd really looking for anything to get excited about. They want to see more from Bobby, who is trying. Listen, it's not as if he isn't at least trying to make the fight, but he hasn't had much success doing so. Just a woefully weak pawing of the jab from Darby. You know, it's hard to tell a man to just take a shot, but maybe at this point, you gotta just start rushing in and roughing up Darby and just, like you said, taking that 30 seconds to see what happens.
I think Darby could do 20 rounds at this place. He's ready to do
right. As we enter the sixth and final round, there's a possibility that both of these fighters have just saved it all up for the last 3 minutes. Maybe.
Hope so.
That bell rings and we get hellfire from both guys. This is what we're waiting to see. That 30 seconds has got to turn into 3 minutes now. It does not appear that Darby has changed his mind at all. However, Vincent is still aggressing with little to no success. But game for the fight. It's just a difficult dynamic.
Darby boxing like someone that just wants to get back home and not let his parents know he's a
snuck
boxer.
out of the house tonight. He's trying to make curfew. Oh man, it's frustrating to see punches even land because there's so little on them. It's like Vincent doesn't even expect to land the punches anymore. He's surprised that he made contact. Kind of reminds me of Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
I didn't watch that fight, by the way, so I don't know.
Well, you have now.
I wish we had that copy box on these shows. I'd like to see the punch stats.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Imagine the ratio thrown to landed. You know how when you're training and your coach is like, or you're really early in your career, your dad will be like, all right, I'm not gonna hit you. You just try to hit me.
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah, I'll put the gloves in. Yeah, I'm just gonna meet my head, work on my defense. Yep.
This is what we're looking at. I do think Vincent, when he goes back to the drawing board, will find this fight so frustrating and dissatisfying that he will figure out how to not allow this to happen again.
Yeah, most definitely.
And again, we must be said that we've seen this kind of performance like we're seeing from Darby and the frustration like we're seeing from Vincent at the highest level.
Yeah, 100%.
We've just seen it, you know, in Riyadh from Canelo and Skull, and then we've seen it at Times Square. Like, no one is immune to this kind of knife.
No one.
I think people are just clapping because it is finally over. And we can move on to the main event.